If someone was willing to pay you $1 million to sell your home, would you do it? I know I would, and I'm sure everyone would do it. With that, it becomes really strange when you find people who don't sell their houses at any price. No matter the cost, they're determined to keep it to themselves. Today, we'll be talking about the houses and the owners who refuse to move out at whatever the price. Keep watching. The Bridge House. Just as the name suggests, it has something to do with a bridge. To be specific, it's a house sandwiched between a bridge. The Bridge House, located in Guangzhou, China, is the result of refusal. The owner's refusal to sell her property and the Chinese government's refusal to stop building the bridge in that area. Nobody messes with the Chinese government, but this owner did. After countless tries by the government to persuade the woman who owned the house failed, they decided to carry on with the construction. Oddly enough, the woman who owns it enjoys the situation. She claims she finds it quite peaceful and liberating. Yes, peaceful, with traffic noise all around. I guess when it's your home, you really do get used to everything. How about a house that looks like it came straight out of Stuart Little? The owner of this place is Mary Cook. Just like the Bridge House sandwiched between a bridge, this house is squished between two gigantic buildings. Mary Cook and her family bought this lovely slim cottage in New York back in the late 1890s. In 1915, 3 years after the death of Mary's husband, a stream of developers came pouring in, asking everyone in that area to sell their houses. Mary, who was now the only living resident of the house, since her children had moved out to live their own lives, flatly refused their offers. Unfortunately, in the real estate business, these matters don't end that easily. The developers resorted to harassing and offering more and more money until all the houses in the area were cleared, except one. Mary stood her ground with pride as the whole neighborhood around her changed and her house was squished between two gigantic buildings. Mary sadly died in 1932, but her cute little house still proudly stands in its place. A true testament to what Mary stood for. Let's see how long this place can last. Next on our list is Vera Koking's summer cottage located in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This tiny summer cottage is perhaps the last house that hasn't fallen to any billionaire's hands. In the 1970s, the American vacation destination of Atlantic City started transforming into the bright, shiny megapolis it is today. Companies would buy private residences at whatever price demanded, then they'd demolish them and build sky-towering casinos. At the forefront of this charge was the famous business tycoon Donald Trump. He was obsessed with building a mega hotel casino, and the only thing standing in his way was an elderly lady named Vera Koking. Vera had bought her summer cottage with her now-deceased husband in the 1960s and in no way was going to give it up, and all the memories etched on its walls. She still lives in Atlantic City with her house, a testimony of her stand against Donald Trump. Donald might have lost the presidency, but not Vera. Vera just doesn't give up. Ever heard of a farm inside an airport? As crazy as it sounds, it's true. Takashito, a Japanese farmer, downright refuses to surrender his land to the multinational company that built the Narita Airport in Tokyo. Narita International Airport is Tokyo's second largest airport. It was built over a small village of 28 people on Tokyo's outskirts. The company bought the farmland of all villagers at whatever price they named, except for one. Takashito and his family continue to plow their farmlands, even though they admit the noise of the airplanes annoys them 24/7. Shito says he doesn't want the money, he just wants to continue farming. He was offered $1.7 million. Yeah, $1.7 million. Would you refuse this much money? I know I wouldn't. Time for a coffee shop. The Chez Sala Coffee House in France is owned by Mr. Sala Dani, who's been serving coffee to the locality for the past 46 years. He's originally from Algeria and bought the coffee house with his wife Janet some 50 years ago. The coffee house served as a warm and welcoming place to the people of the area until a developer bought the houses nearby and demolished them to build something new. Standing lonesomely in the middle of the gray and cold terrain, Chez Sala refuses to be demolished. Mr. Widani considers the coffee house to be his and his wife's whole life's work and will continue to serve locals till he dies. Edith Macefield's house, or otherwise known as the house from the movie Up. This house is located in Seattle, Washington, and rose to fame in 2006 when a multinational company started buying private residences to build a shopping mall over that area. Edith Macefield, with her 108-year-old farmhouse, refused to bend the knee. She was offered $1 million, but to her, money was not more important than her family's farmhouse. The elderly lady continued to live in the house until she, unfortunately, died in 2008. Her house still smiles from its empty windows. It was given to charity to fund affordable housing. Now this is something Edith would have been proud of. Let's take a look at the Victorian house of Randall Acker. Located in the city of Portland in the United States, this cute little house is owned by Mr. Randall Acker. The story of this house is a tale of defiance against an evil multinational that bought and tore down all the Victorian houses in the area to build a student housing building. After a long-standing legal battle, Randall Acker managed to save his 1894 Queen Anne-style house, but the company still built its project around it. This led the neighbors coming together and recreating the famous and whimsical scene from the movie Up. Even the construction workers from the multinational joined in as the balloons were released from the house's chimney. Today, the house stands as the only Victorian house in the area. It's the rebel that everyone loves. An elderly couple's house in the city of Winling, China, was turned into a roundabout after a road was built around it when they refused to move out. Lao Baojian and his wife are the only residents left in a neighborhood of once connected homes that were demolished to make way for a major road. The government's already demolished a considerable part of the apartment building, but the couple keeps standing in defiance. Mr. Luo said the house cost 60,000 yuan, around 6,000 pounds, to build, but the authorities have offered substantially less to relocate him. Seems like the house isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Meet Mr. Vane Adams and Catherine King of Freedom Cove. The artist couple made their own self-sustaining unique home on the coast of Vancouver Island of Canada with recyclable materials. No one challenges the existence of the island except perhaps the winter thunderstorms. The couple continues to make the island better and won't leave until the end of their lives. Talk about being eco-friendly. The Thirsty Beaver, a one-story bar in Charlotte, North Carolina, became popular when a big legal battle erupted between the bar owner and the neighborhood's property dealer. The dealer wanted to build a 302-unit apartment building in its place since local businesses in the area were collapsing. The Thirsty Beaver eventually won with the massive support from its customers. The owner still sits at the counter, cracking jokes and pouring beer. The dealer, on the other hand, probably gave up drinking at bars forever. The Pale House is located in Shanghai, China, and was once owned by a fisherman and his family. After a decade of refusal to sell the house, which the Chinese government wanted to build a parking lot over, the fisherman died. The house was promptly taken down, and the parking lot finally came to completion. A pretty simple story with a sad twist. These corporations really don't care about anyone's wishes. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give a fat thumbs up. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.